This is English 401. Today we're going to talk about abbreviations a little bit, and then we're going to talk about commas when you're writing. But first we need to go over the 4 kinds of sentences we talked about last time. And the 4 kinds of sentences are a statement. Well, there's statement, but it's a declarative sentence. It tells a statement, usually followed by a period. An interrogative sentence is a question, like, when is your birthday? What day of the week it is? Is it? That is a question mark. Imperative is a request or a command. Like if you, your teacher says, sit in your seat, or your mom says, close the door. That's a command. It's telling you to do something. It usually ends in a period. Exclamatory is an exciting sentence. Ends in an exclamation point. It shows strong emotion or feeling. So now that we've reviewed those, declarative, tells, interrogative, ask, imperative, gives a command, and exclamatory shows lots of excitement. All right, we're going to talk briefly about how you can abbreviate things. I'm going to put a couple of words on the board, and I'm going to show you how we can abbreviate them. And we use punctuation. We do a period after the abbreviation. So if we were going to abbreviate the word ounce, we would just put O-Z, period. Inch is pretty easy too. I-N, we use the abbreviation, abbreviate it and use the period. So I'm going to write foot, week, yard. And there are abbreviations. So a foot, abbreviated, is FT, period. A week is WK, period. And a yard is YD, period. All right. So abbreviations end in a period. That's one way you use a period at the end of abbreviation. Like Mrs. Smith, period. You put a period. People put periods after, like Mrs. Farrell, Mrs. MRS, period, and then the last name. Your teachers do that. Or if it's a man, it's Mr. We'll put Mr. Jones. So there are different ways that you can use periods other than just at the end of the sentence. So let me erase this, and we're going to talk about commas. And there are a couple of ways that you can use commas in sentences. The first use of comma, the way you can use a comma is by separating 3 or more items in a series. So if I put on the board, I'll give an example. Hannah made cookies, but we're going to put what kind. Hannah made chocolate chip cookies. Chip. Peanut butter. And she made oatmeal raisin. Cookies. So she made 3 different kinds of cookies. Hannah made chocolate chip, peanut butter, and oatmeal raisin cookies. We can't leave it like that. We have to separate it out and put commas. So we would put, and this is a comma, like that, just a little curve like that. Hannah made chocolate chip, comma, peanut butter, comma, and oatmeal raisin cookies. We separated the types of cookies by using the commas. So let's think of another example of commas. Let's see. We'll say Margaret went to the store. Oops. And bought apples, grapes, bananas, and pears. So we need to separate what she bought at the store by using commas. Margaret went to the store and bought apples, comma, grapes, comma, bananas, comma, and pears. Oh, we need to put an S on that, and pears. And that is how you separate things in a sentence by using a comma. Another rule of commas is you use commas to separate items in dates and addresses. So let me erase this. So if I were to write July 4th, 1776, we could not leave it like that. We need to separate these numbers, the 4 and the 4, which is the day of the month it is, and this is the year. So we will put a comma right there. July 4th, 1776. Here's another date, October 10th, and we'll say it's 2011. We are going to have to put a comma right here to separate the date and the year. We also put it when we write addresses. So we can put, when we write it in a sentence this way, Mary lives at 123 Cherry Drive, Hickory, North Carolina. So we can't just leave it like this. We have to separate the street, the city, and the state. So Mary lives at 123 Cherry Drive. You would put a comma, Hickory, comma, North Carolina. We also, here's another example. St. Louis, you always separate the city and the state. Here's another city, St. Louis. Missouri. is where the famous gateway arch stands. All right. So St. Louis, Missouri is where the famous Gateway Arch stands. So there's the city, St. Louis, and the state, Missouri. We need to put a comma in there. That is what we do. We put commas to separate items and dates and addresses. So if we didn't write it in a sentence, and we just wrote the address, 123 Cherry Drive, we wouldn't put a comma here. We would put Hickory, comma, North Carolina, and then 28601. So that's how it would be on an envelope, and we'll talk about that later. So you always separate the city and the state. There's another way that you can use commas is when you say, yes, I'm going to the store, or no, I'm not going to the store. So, if you can say, yes, I can go to the park. Yes. I can go to the park. Awesome. Yes, I can go to the park. But you can't leave it like this. When you say yes, and then you put a comma. Obviously not when you're talking, but think about it. A comma is a rest. Yes, I can go to the park. Or, no, I cannot go to the park. But when you have a yes and a no at the beginning of the sentence, put a comma and then make your statement. You also put a comma when you make a statement like, may I help you? May I help you, comma, asked Jim. May I help you, comma. There you go. All right. Or you could say, Joe, just like you did with a yes and a no, you would put a person's name, Joe, where are you going? All right. You also use commas when you write a letter. Like if you were writing a letter to your mom, and we'll talk more about friendly letters soon, but if you're writing a letter to your mom, you would put, dear mom, comma, and then you would write the body of your letter, what you're going to say, and then you might write the word love and whatever your name is, like if it's Sam. You would put the ending, whatever you end the letter with, like yours truly or love or sincerely, you put a comma and then your name. So at the beginning you write dear mom, comma, or whoever you're writing to, write the body, and then you write an ending, which is love or from, comma, and then you write your name.